Asampa FM 94.7. All talk, all day.
Any lawyer or power boy ama yat Supreme Court ruling no asye eye or party in this particular case. Yenya uno, what did you hear the Supreme Court say about the that one name? Then I would say.
Okay. Apart from the materials, I near court no a granting no printouts no.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
Certified true copy.
Okay.
Now I will start from FM. I'm say relief one already struck out as withdrawn. Then I send anyway, and it's from my friends say, I'm actually more relief one as assigned. Into relief two, I can't this for me.
Yes.
Relief two. This relief is granted subject to the fact that all eligible voters must make themselves available for registration, as directed by the EC Person to CI 126. Now, what is relief two? What does relief two say? The entry relief two, say my NDC for a Now, relief two, now, almost on let's say a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of the provisions of the Constitution, Article 51, read conjointly with Article 46, the power of the defendant to compile and review the voters' register must exercise subject to respect for and protection for the right to vote. Relief two, almost as I can't know any. But in point, almost say subject to C126. So relief two is just say, will be person vote here. No, relief two just say if the electoral commission for a compile register, they must suspend the right to vote. It doesn't give anybody any relief. It doesn't do anything. So for me, relief two was just mere commentary on the Constitution. It doesn't talk about the voter ID card. It doesn't talk about the birth certificate. Are you following me?
Yes, me too, pa.
Then relief three, this relief is granted. Also subject to voter registration card issued to eligible voter under the prevailing constitutional instrument, CI 126. So relief 3 is granted subject to CI 126. That is what it says. So if relief 2 no say relief 3 enjoy it is subject to 126, CI 126. Now what does relief 3 talk about? Relief 3 say a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of the provisions of the Constitution, particularly Article 42, upon the registration of an issuance of a voter ID card to a person, that person has an accrued right to vote, which cannot be divested in an arbitrary manner. Simple as that. So we say that NDC was talking about. Almost say if you have a voter ID card, you have a right to vote. Simple. It doesn't talk about old ID card or existing ID card. But no court necessarily granted subject to CI 126. So yes, you have that right, but it must be in accordance with CI 126.
CI 126 ne so ne de parliament jitu mu na say
yes. I don't know what no ID card here. Now, most importantly, I didn't this for paper. It is from relief 4 to relief 8. All of them were dismissed. Relief 4 was to the effect that the declaration that upon the true and proper interpretation of the provisions of the Constitution, particularly Article 42 of the Constitution, all existing voter ID cards duly issued by the second defendant as the Electoral Commission to register voters are valid. That's what NDC were saying. A declaration by the court say all existing voter ID cards issued by the Electoral Commission to register voters are valid for purposes of identifying such persons that has the right to vote. What did the court say? Relief 4 dismissed. No, Patrick, is it unclear?
Yeah, relief 4 is dismissed, and we reiterate our position in Abu Ramadan number 2 super.
Relief 4 is dismissed. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Relief 4 dismissed. Say you can't use voter ID card for purposes to identify you in the voter registration. Then relief 5, NDC wants to say they wanted a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of the Constitution, specifically Article 42, the second defendant supported amendment of Regulation 1, Sub-Regulation 3 of the CI 91 through the Public Elections Voters Registration of Voters Amendment Regulations 2020 to exclude existing voter ID cards as proof of identification to enable a person apply for registration as a voter. It's unconstitutional. Until relief 5, almost say court should declare the Electoral Commission will exclude the existing ID card. No, they are acting unconstitutionally. What did the court say? Relief 5 dismissed. Simple. Relief 5 is dismissed.
Yeah, relief 5 dismissed. Yes.
Relief 6 also dismissed. Relief 6 dismissed. No, relief 6 was that a declaration of the second defendant, the Electoral Commission again, in purporting to exercise its power pursuant to Article 51 of the Constitution, to exclude existing voter ID cards from the documents required as proof of ID to enable a person to register as a voter without any classification is arbitrary. So we say the court should declare that if a electoral commission excludes existing voter ID cards, they are acting arbitrarily. The court said will insist is dismissed.
Dismissed, yes.
And they, however, reiterate the decision of Ramadan, where Justice Benning stated that if the law provides for alternative ways of performing the task, the discretion is vested in the actor in deciding only the elements of the constitution as to which one of them would best suit the task at hand. Will 7-2 almost say end is for the court declares upon a true point of the constitution, proof of ID for registration as a voter should not be limited by provisions of CI 126. What did the court say? Almost dismiss subject to provisions contained in CI 126. So then relief 8 again almost it is refused, and they are reiterating their position in Abu Ramadan number 2. Then they go ahead to examine the release sought by the second plaintiff, Techi Banson.
Banson, there, no? Yes.
Yes. All of them were dismissed. Relief 1 is dismissed, Relief 2 is dismissed, Relief 3 is dismissed, Relief 4 is dismissed, Relief 5 is dismissed. And then, let me see where's a Relief 6. Relief 6 is also dismissed. So,
yes, Relief 6 dismissed.
Techi Banson sought the same release as the NDC, which was that they should allow the use of the old voter ID card, and even went further to say that they should allow the use of birth certificate. And all the release were dismissed. How can any people contend say, one case they allow the use of old voter ID card? It cannot be. So, as far as I'm concerned, and as is clearly borne out by the ruling, all the release sought by something release sought by the NDC were dismissed. The something release sought by the NDC related to the use of the old voter ID card, they were all dismissed. And also, Techi Banson proceeded further, said they should allow the use of birth certificate. They also dismissed. So the only release that were granted, well, the commentary to the Constitution, I said the Constitution, you cannot breach somebody's right to vote. But it's not, everybody knows. Everybody knows, say, the Constitution, under the Constitution, you cannot breach anybody's right to vote. And those reliefs added nothing at all. They were just mere commentary on the true meaning and effect of Articles 42 and 45.
Indeed, from understanding of the ruling and said, on Tuesday, if the Electoral Commission should begin registration now, nobody can appear at a registration center with the old voter's ID card.
If you do so, you should be driven away. Whereas I say it to me, a driver away. And if you are an electoral officer and you attempt to accept such an old ID card, you have acted unlawfully, a bit required to do. Because the Supreme Court made clear consequential orders. Or say, in exercise the powers conferred on us under Article 2.
Yes.
And under Article 2, the Supreme Court has the power to make consequential orders. And such consequential orders, and the nature of even directives given at the Constitution itself, it carries the effect of a constitutional order.
Yes.
And they said that we hereby make the following orders. It is hereby ordered that all stakeholders, all Ghanaians, should comply with CI 126. It says it's hereby ordered that all stakeholders and all Ghanaian eligible voters are directed to comply with Articles 42 and 45 of the Constitution and the Public Elections Regulations Amendment
Regulations 2020 CI 126.
CI 126 as related by the Electoral Commission in carrying out that their constitutional mandate, the compilation of a new voters register. So the Supreme Court itself has admonished and has ordered and directed all Ghanaians to comply with CI 126.
And CI 126, Nelson Ekase, say, oh, Baba register passport, Ghana card, and I say, Obi, our register that I be guarantee many do.
Guarantee system. Yeah, the Ghana system. And then the court even went ahead to say that any other case which is pending in any lower court is supposed to be dealt with by the judge before whom it is placed. In accordance with the Supreme Court today was quite categorical and were quite clear in the directives that they gave today. And they didn't want to leave any room at all for any ambiguity or any manipulation by anybody at all. The Supreme Court wanted to keep the possibility of a manipulation or any untoward act by any person in the country. So the court went ahead and gave an order, say, all courts are supposed to comply with this order given by the highest court of the land today. And the highest court of the land today has totally declined, dismissed the relief sought by the NDC relating to the inclusion of the old voter ID card and the birth certificate, as well as a declaration that Regulation 1, Subregulation 3 of CI 126 is unconstitutional. Those have been dismissed totally.
Lawyer Dame, ma yenhwena say into consequential orders me and san na wo kan no say Supreme Court na clear in one ne say Electoral Commission and a Ghana for nyina should abide by the provisions of CI 126 in registering. Two neka say by this decision the Electoral Commission, i.e. second defendant in suit number J19-2020 and first defendant in the second suit are hereby directed to commence the compilation of the voters registration exercise as scheduled.
Yes.
3, they say, by these decisions and by virtue of Article 132 of the Constitution, any court in which same or similar action is pending or yet to be filed, and it is a future cases apply the decision rendered by the Supreme Court in these consolidated suits.
Yes, and I think that the Supreme Court ought to be commended because it's actually a step in ensuring that there's order in the administration of justice.
Now, and on preemptive, Dodo.
Well, but the point is that the Supreme Court also, you see, the Supreme Court has been given what we call residual powers. So there are powers that vested in other courts, which the Supreme Court, under Articles 129 as well as 130, have the power to exercise. So the Supreme Court is in exercise of any jurisdiction imposed upon it in hearing a matter. When it comes to its attention, say there's a matter pending in another court, which has a bearing on what is before it, can, even without any of the parties applying, exercise the powers, make any order to affect the determination of the action in the lower court. Indeed, yesterday, the Supreme Court exercised such a power in my case, the Willoughby case. So we came to court trying to get the Supreme Court to allow the state to acquire the assets of Willoughby. Then the affidavit of Mr. Willoughby, although opposed the application, also the state company is acting unlawfully because there's a case pending in the High Court. We are not respecting. Instead of respecting the case pending in the High Court, we are proceeding to sell his assets. The court announced no by. So the court make sure that okay, after this ruling, the case pending in the High Court is stayed because the High Court does not have the power to make any orders in a matter which is pending in the Supreme Court. We make it to the Supreme Court, not High Court. We will fight High Court. Say we are fighting injunction go High Court and we are not respecting. Court man order straight away then. So the High Court should stop. And that's the power that is vested in the Supreme Court. I think that is very important that these things ought to be explained to the public because it's all in the interest for ensuring that the rule of law is upheld in this country. The kind of situation where the Supreme Court has taken its time to deal with the matter, give orders. These are very seasoned judges, start the matter, and then the lower court, considered by one person, also be doing something which will be contrary to the specific direction of the Supreme Court.
So
what the Supreme Court has done is perfectly in order. And actually, it must be upheld. That they did not want to counter this where we'll come back to court again. Like, naturally, we still be our time. No,
Godfred, memoir call now, sana no final point be a me pese yenya clarity on. Omu relief number 3. A declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of the provisions of the Constitution, particularly Article 42, upon the registration of and issuance of a voter identification card to a person, that person has an accrued right to vote, which cannot be divested in an arbitrary and capricious manner. In the interpretation of Wayno, say meme wa card dada, voter's ID card dada. What does it mean?
What it means, see, this provision again, this relief, apply for, but again, is just, as I said, one of the commentaries that they sought to make on the constitutional provision. I agree with this relief that they're making. All they're saying is, ID card, you have an accrued right to vote. Yes, it is true. If I have a voter ID card, I have an accrued right to vote. If there's any voting exercise going on, I can vote.
By entry ID card, crow.
Yes, entry ID card, crow. And apart from that, that's what the Supreme Court in its said yes, but subject to CI 126. So it tells you that Supreme Court granted, subject to the voter registration card issued to an eligible voter under the prevailing constitutional instrument, CI 126. I said, yes, you have the right to go and vote if you have a voter ID card. But it is subject to a voter ID card issued under CI 126.
Okay. Okay.
In
the budget, unya card na emranema akwan say obeto aba. Be was say eye card eba under CI 126.
Under CI 126. That is what the Supreme Court is saying. So it has effectively nullified the
existing voters ID, no?
Yes, they use an enforceability of the old voter ID card. The old voter ID card now has no right at all. There's no right accruing thereunder. Because it says here that yes, it is subject to a voter ID card issued under CI 126. Clearly, what does it?
Godfred, my yana seni fancy. Bibi any I best about be din komobio. Why?
Which way does it? And I think I must place on record say they attend by some people to as it were hoodwink the masses. No, it's deplorable. We cannot be leaders in a country like Ghana, democratic institution, democratic state like Ghana, governed by rule of law. You go to court, the highest court of law of the land, makes orders which are binding on everybody. The orders are so clear, and then you go ahead and peddle falsehood. Say what we need is now you guarantee a friend's old voter ID card, so you should use it. Where some part you are even encouraging people to go and behave unlawfully. Then and that's your chief of what they will not understand, and that's why because of you, your own directive to them, so they should go with their old voter ID card. How? When the Supreme Court has outlawed it, it's outlawed totally here. I think that we should also try to be that so frame, and I hope that we continue to educate the people.
Godfred Matthew, that's it.
Now, for kind of readers say, you should vote. I know correct.